Hey, what's up guys, Totallydubbed here, and today I'm doing a video review on the Shanling M0, or MO as some people might want to say. This is a portable music player with a touchscreen interface. It essentially covers every audiophile dream, at least on paper. And I was very much intrigued to see how this little device would compare to the iFi xDSD and the Mojo/Poly combination as well. Now this thing, unlike the two that I've just mentioned, which come in at £400 and about £900 with a Poly combination, costs only £100. In the US, I think it's around, if I'm not mistaken, let me just double check, $100. Now all specs and everything like that will be in the description below, so be sure to check that out. Now just going through some top line specs, it's got up to LDAC support, it's got DSD support as well, it's got a USB-C port which can also be used as a DAC, so you can plug it into your computer or what have you, and have that. It's got a 1.54 inch touchscreen display, which I'll show in just a bit. It runs the Shanling M Touch OS, so it's not running an Android or custom Android interface, it's actually using Shanling's very own interface, which again I'll get into in just a bit, but I must say is very impressive. And it supports 32-bit, 384 kilohertz file types as well, and supports, which is very impressive for something which is this small. Now the size of it for me is really impressive for something that supports all these type of things and all the codecs and support. It's actually very impressive to find in such a small device. Now within the box you will get a USB-C cable and obviously the device itself. There's a set of manuals as well, but they're not going to be very interesting, nor is the cable. Now in terms of the device itself, it's got a little sort of a wheel on the right hand side. This is used to adjust the volume that you're going to have. So if I just do that, and you can see the volume can be adjusted. It also can be used to power on or power off the device, and also interact with the device, as in waking on or off the device, as you can see right there. A 3.5mm jack is found underneath, and a USB-C port as well. There's a microSD card input, which I've got a microSD card right now in there. It supports up to 512 gigabytes of storage space. That should be plenty for your FLAC files or lossless files or what have you, and an absolute ton of MP3 files, to say the least. Now in terms of the OS itself, before getting into it, I just want to show you it is connected to LDAC, and the way I'm going to do this is just show you on my OnePlus 5T. You can see it is connected HD audio LDAC. Now you can set that to aptX if you so wish via the OS. Now what I'm going to just do is turn off the Bluetooth on my phone, and it should automatically disable it, and now you'll be able to see that it's actually picking up the songs which are on the SD card. If I long press, I can go into the main menu. Now the main menu itself is very intuitive, very easy to use, and actually very responsive. I must say, when I first picked it up, I wasn't super impressed, but then I realized that I could update the firmware, and right now I just wanted to just double check. I'm running on firmware v2.3, which at the time of making this video is the latest firmware. It really does speed up the device and make the device a lot more useful. For example, you get to have a bit more track information when you're running on Bluetooth mode, and you've got the clock which is displaying at the same time. So all very, very impressive. Now in terms of the settings, there's a variety of different settings you can add. Obviously it's all going to be depending on you in terms of what works best for your setup. There's no right or wrong option here. It's just really up to you. You can see what's playing, you've got your music, and you've even got your folders, which you can see right now. I had my micro SD card that I usually use for my little action camera. I thought I'd just quickly put some music on it just to see at least that it works. I don't really use the micro SD card function. I know a lot of audiophiles will do, but that's not its primary function for me. I usually use it over Bluetooth just because I like having all my songs and what have you on my phone and transferring. That's why I love these two portable devices for that reason, rather than using like a full-on, you know, desktop solution on the go. Now in terms of the interface, now if I just play some Charlie Puth, you can see over here you've got the play and pause function. You can go next, and it's going to go on the next song and give you the album cover as well. You can also swipe. The swiping function can be a little bit finicky. You have to kind of be at the bottom edge. but you can see over here you can seek within the song. Again, a little bit finicky because of the size of the screen. It's very, very small, just bear that in mind. And you can even go into direct EQ settings and change the EQ settings of the device. And then if you swipe again, you can see lyric information if it has it. And as I said before, if you just pause and then just long press, you can go back to the main menu and then activate Bluetooth mode or what have you. Now, the functionalities and the fact that they're not using a Android overlay means that Shanling have full control over the OS. They can update it as much as they want, and on top of that, it just works with the device. It's made for the device and it just works, and I love it. I must say, Shanling have done a fantastic job over here with the interface. Now, just turning Bluetooth back on, just to show you in terms of the interface how it looks like when the Bluetooth's enabled. Just turning it on my phone right now, and it's going to be connecting. It always just takes a little extra time when you're just connecting up, and it's just trying to connect some earphones up. There you go. So now it's connected up, and if I just play some music, so it's Star Wars Cantina Band, you can see in the background, you can see the song. Now, if I were to press next, it will, well, what it should do is, there you go, change songs directly there, and you can see how responsive it is with my phone. It actually works very well in play and pause again, and it's working with power amp flawlessly. So I must say it's very impressive, and I've got no complaints whatsoever. Now, the most important thing, and I think the most important thing for anyone, is its audio fidelity and how does it sound. Now, to give you a little rundown of what I tried it with, I've got my custom Peers SH2s. I got the incredible Hi-Fi Mine RE2000 Silvers. At home, I use the Hi-Fi Man Sandara, which is a bit too big to show on camera, and my custom modded AHD 2000s, which in all honesty are nothing like the D2000s used to be, but nevertheless they are the headphones as well that I use at home. These are my actual daily drivers, the things that I actually use on a daily basis and what I actually use, and these are all kind of not flagship but very high-end audio devices, at least as far as earphones go. So I really put it to its test, and I must say this little thing sounds fantastic. Now, as I said before, the primary use I had was over Bluetooth, and the reason I say Bluetooth via a micro SD card is because I actually like having that control over the music all on my phone. I don't want to be uploading to a micro SD card and then putting on this device each and single time I update my music. I'd rather just have it all on my phone. Of course, your mileage may vary. You might be a more dedicated audiophile to do that. That's absolutely fine, no problem with that. But I'm just giving you a rundown of what I've had in terms of my setup. Now, the LDAC codec basically transmits at an absolutely incredible rate. Of course, your music will have to be to that level in order to benefit from it, and most of my music didn't. So, for example, Pussycat Dolls, what do you think about that? It's just really, you know, showing the type of songs that I have. But nevertheless, all I'm trying to say over here is my setup is almost my music files were kind of the limiting function. However, to make it a level playing field, all these other devices were all using the same sort of sound, and in this respect I could check to see how well the actual DACs did in comparison. And what I found is essentially the xDSD, which to me is really its main competitor, which costs 4 times the amount of price. It's £400 versus £100. Sound a lot more open, especially with open back headphones or sort of more open sounding earphones. I heard a more open sound, a less convoluted veiled sound on the xDSD, and more so when it came to the Mojo, and the Poly combination, which is a little step up over the xDSD itself. So yes, there is a price difference, and yes, you can hear the difference between the two, but does it warrant 4 times the amount of price? Absolutely not. The Shanling M0 actually really does a fantastic job in keeping up with its competitors, and no, it doesn't knock these two off their throne. I would still say the xDSD is my favorite go-to portable player and the one I'll still be using. However, the M0 does a fantastic job across the range. So Giving you a sort of breakdown in terms of lows, it's got a decent low end response. It does feel a little bit warmer in comparison to some of the other DACs that I mentioned. In terms of the mids, it's a little bit veiled, a little bit pushed back, and not as open and forward sounding, again, especially in comparison to the Mojo Poly or with the xDSD. The highs extend very well. I had no sort of complaints with that. Nice little sparkle on the top end. And the soundstage, again, relatively open, but sometimes did feel that it was kind of being limited, kind of closed, and it couldn't really expand its reach. It felt like this wanted to really be the same size as this thing and open up its soundstage. So in other words, all I'm trying to say over here is that it does a fantastic job, especially for the price, but it doesn't quite compete with the xDSD and Mojo. However, those cost 4 times the price. So it's all relative. If you want fantastic sound, a portable player, and something that is really versatile for what it does and actually will last you 15 hours of playback, then you should get this, simply put. So there we go, guys. I've been Totally Dubbed. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review. Any questions, feel free to ask me down in the comments below. Take care and bye-bye.